Hello and welcome to my podcast. Do me a favor, subscribe to the John Keim Report wherever you get your podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You can find us there as part of Ampire Media, Ampire. Always much appreciated when you tune in. Don't forget, you can read my work on ESPN.com. I have a couple stories up now. Going to have another one later in a couple days from now on Thursday about, I believe it's Thursday, about Jayden Daniels. A lot of stuff from the season, what makes this kid so good, the behind the scenes stuff that I think you'll enjoy reading. Anyways, so check that out. Then also don't forget on Tuesday night, tonight, when you're watching this, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time with Bram Weinstein, the voice of the Commanders, doing our live stream show. Folks, did you think we'd be talking about football, about games that matter at this time of the year, way back when? I don't think any of us did. And if you did, you're the most optimistic fan, and kudos to you. Anyway, but that's where we're at, folks. And it was kind of surreal watching to see when they put up the graphics about the final four teams left. And this team is one of them. For you guys, has to be a very cool moment. So enjoy this. Anyway, so Bram and I will be talking about all that Tuesday night, 7:30 Eastern Time. For you Gold members, I'll be doing a private Zoom. Not sure if it's going to be Thursday or Friday yet. Just have to see how the schedule breaks out. But I will be doing that. And for the rest of you club members, we will be doing at some point soon one. We're just going to open it all up for everybody and do it there and just get through as many questions as we can. So anyways, look for that sometime very soon. So anyway, today I'm joined by former Washington Redskins coach Jay Gruden. I had him on last week. Just love his insight, love his thoughts on the matchup and just what he thinks about Jayden Daniels. We did talk about Daniels against the Blitz because I think that's where he is at a high level performing in the NFL. Now, I don't know that the Eagles will blitz, but I think it speaks to what makes Daniels unique and special already as a rookie. So anyways, Jay was very impressed by that. And it's one thing for one of us to say it, but it's another thing for a former head coach and play caller who also recognizes some of the different traits in Daniels. And, he had a funny line about him, about when he runs, about how soft it is when he runs. And then also, what's it like playing in Philly? All of that good stuff. And of course, you remember that they clinched the division title way back in 2015 against the Eagles on the road. So he knows. Anyways, don't forget you can check Jay out. He does work with Underdog Fantasy. He and Colt McCoy, so you can check him out there. Before I get to that, just a couple little things. Again, told you about the live stream tonight, and then also you Gold members. But the players, we will not be around the players again until Wednesday. So we'll be back. It's a normal week for them as far as like the schedule of everything. On Monday, they're out there doing their stuff. Tuesdays, treatment day and all that. Jayden Daniels, Bobby Wagner, they'll be in there getting all the game plan stuff and preparing like they always do. But we'll be back out there on Wednesday, get a whole slew of more interviews for you. And I'll be doing stuff on the podcast Thursday, Friday, and Saturday morning, getting you ready for that championship game at 3 o'clock on Sunday. So that's about all I got, folks. Looking forward to it. A lot of fun talking football. That's the best part. Here's my conversation with former Washington Redskins coach Jay Gruden. All right, Jay. Well, I didn't think I'd be still talking football this late in the year, but here we are. But I am curious. I want to start with one. What does it mean to you to see Washington doing this, given your ties to the organization?
That's incredible. The fan base was always pretty good to me, and there's some players there that I absolutely have a lot of respect for. Terry, Jonathan, Duran, Tressway, Jeremy Reeves, Jameson Crowder, still pull for them in a big way. And yeah, so it's just fun to watch these guys. And it's just, as an ex-coach and play caller, to watch a guy like Jayden Daniels perform at this level as a rookie is just entertaining as hell to me.
I agree, and it's because you can even understand it at a deeper level as someone who just covers it, or as a fan, you're going to see it at one level. What's the thing when you see that? Like, what are some of the little things that maybe jump out to you as a play caller with what he does?
The thing that he rarely makes a wrong decision, and he's got the game so under control. He's so poised that nothing's too big for him. Pressures. Detroit tried everything in their power to try to pressure him. They brought 6, they brought 7. They tried to, bring in the A gap, B gap, C gap, D gap, and he felt it and got the ball out of his hands effortlessly and ran when he had to run. He missed a couple throws, not many, but he's just incredible player. He's just so poised, and it's just he can't rattle him. And he runs. He's so light on his feet. It's like if it was snowing outside, he wouldn't leave a footprint. He's just so light on his feet. He's an incredible guy to watch. And Cliff does a great job, not taking anything away from Cliff or Anthony Lynn, the run game
Right.
coordinator, but this quarterback is a special human.
And I was going to ask you about that against the blitz because I thought he was fantastic. But you're right; like it felt like the awareness of where the pressure was coming from and the decision making within that was just to me next level.
Yeah, for sure. And these aren't easy throws.
No,
Somebody free in your face to, get on your toes and deliver it. The crossing route to Terry McLaurin on fourth down at the end of the game. They had a little out route to Zach Ertz late in the game with the guy right in his face. These are not that easy throws to be making. And as a rookie, 10-year vet, 20-year vet, some of
right.
these guys can't make these throws. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting to watch defensive coordinators and how they try to attack Jayden. I think Detroit's obviously plan was to try to send a lot of people at him. That didn't work. Next week maybe Vic Fangio will probably be a little bit more conservative with his approach and rush forward and try to play more coverage. That's kind of his MO, and
Right.
he'll have a blitz every now and then. But yeah, it's just fun to watch these guys try to stop him. Nobody has.
Does he remind you of anybody?
No, no, not really. You know, he's a combination of obviously Lamar with his athletic ability and accuracy and anticipation. Any good quarterback that you can think of, So I hate to compare him to anybody, but he's
Right.
just got traits of a lot of different people. I heard Herm Edwards, who coached him at Arizona State, said he's like Randall Cunningham, but I think he's a better passer than Randall.
Hmm.
So yeah,
There you see some of the talking heads and all that, like, oh, he's playing the best of anybody still left in the postseason. Do you think so?
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I mean, Patrick is Patrick. The thing about the guys left in the postseason, the most important thing is none of them have turned the ball over. I think
Right.
in all four games that were won, Philadelphia, they didn't turn the ball over. Kansas City didn't turn the ball over. Buffalo didn't turn the ball over, and obviously Washington hasn't. It's just amazing to me that all the things that he's asked to do, as many times he has the ball in his hand, for him not to put the ball on the ground or throw it to the other team is just incredible to me, because it's not like he's just handing the ball off every play or throwing screen passes. That one to Terry was nice, but
Yeah.
he's doing a lot of different things. He's handling protections. He's doing everything. And to protect the ball like he has. You see a veteran like Jared Goff turn it over 3 times or 4 times, and you saw Matthew Stafford turn it over. You saw Lamar turn it over. This guy has not turned the ball over, and it's incredible.
It is, and I think it's funny because even on the Terry touchdown, like he's got to get rid because that the pressure's coming. Looks like an RPO going the other, go the other way. But is there a coaching point there where it's like, if you see this, kind of forget the fake and just get the ball out?
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Anytime you have a run called, the quicker you get the ball to the receiver, it's better for everybody involved. The receiver, the blockers for the receiver. And then of course you eliminate the part of possibly having illegal men downfield. So yeah, the quicker you get that ball out, the better it is. And he's really quick about it. He's got a quick trigger, which is awesome, man. He can be a shortstop turning too. He looks like a lot of times, and he gets the ball out there accurately and on time. And those guys can run after the catch, and they are.
What do you think about this matchup then with the Eagles?
Well, we saw it twice already.
Right.
The first time, the second time, obviously Washington won. Hurts got hurt first quarter. We understand that, but it's going to be a great game. I think Philadelphia's struggling right now to throw the ball, but they're not having to. Hurts rushed for 70 yards, I think, and Saquon 190. So that's their recipe. That's what Washington's going to have to stop, obviously, and then a sprinkling of AJ Brown or Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert on the outside. So but mainly it's the running game and then the play actions off of it, the bootlegs that are kind of hard to stop with Goddard on the down flats and the sifts and the guys late to the flat or the low crosses. That's their MO. You get them in third down and long. I think Washington will have a lot of success, but that's easier said than done. And then on the flip side, it's Vic Fangio versus, Cliff Kingsbury. It's going to be pretty interesting. Vic doesn't like to blitz a whole lot. He's more of a coverage guy, coverage by formation type guy, and they play it pretty well. Losing Quinyon Mitchell might have hurt him. I don't know what his injury status is, but he was starting to play pretty dang good. But they have some good players back there, and it's going to be interesting how Washington attacks. I don't think they're going to deviate from what they've been doing with the runs, the RPOs, the zone reads, the quarterback design runs, and then just let them drop back and wing it.
How good? I don't know how much you've watched Jalen Carter, but I mean, what are your thoughts on a guy like this? Washington will be without Sam Cosmi, who would be who would more often than not be blocking him. So, what do you think about him?
Yeah, he's a problem. He turned it up at the right time last week against Stafford. He had the big sack that really sealed the deal for Philadelphia. And you'd like to take your center. Hopefully Tyler slides over to Jalen Carter as often as he can. You know, it might leave your back in jeopardy to pick up a blitz every now and then, but you know, trying to get four hands on him is going to be a necessary part of the game, and hopefully the tackles can hold up on some of the Nolan Smiths of the world and get blocking one on one, so Jayden will have some time.
How would you try to attack what you see of this defense?
Yeah, I think you got to understand Vic Fangio's defense. You know, he has certain coverages he likes to play versus certain personnel groups and formations and try to attack that way. But I think balance is the key versus any defense, and I think that's what Washington does the best of. They're very balanced in what they do. You cannot disrespect the running game of Brian Robinson, even though it hasn't been totally effective. They were better against Detroit, but you have to respect that clear of Brian Robinson, even Jeremy McNichols. And then you have to understand that Jayden can actually keep it anytime you want. So you really have to have the perimeter secure. The big guys in the middle for them will do a good job stopping the inside part of it, but the edge guys and the outside linebackers, safeties, they got to do a good job of stopping, obviously, Jayden if he keeps it. And then you got to be sound in coverage. So it's similar for Washington's defense and Philadelphia's defense. You got to get some people in the box to try to stop the run, but then you put your corners in jeopardy a little bit with the single high safety coverages that you'll have to play. And that, you know, opens you up to three-level throws, high crosses, and corner sail routes and all that stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how this game plays out.
How much can you weigh like the intangibles of a team? Like this team, you know, with the leadership of some of the older guys with Wagner, Ertz, now you still got to be able to play, or the leadership doesn't matter as much. But how much can that help them in times like this? Like, and how much do you weigh the intangibles when looking at a game?
I think it's already reared its head how important it is to have intangibles like this. I think these close games that they won down the stretch, they've had six come from behind victories already. I think that shows how much leadership, positive leadership they have on this football team. Nobody gets down, nobody doubts one another, nobody points fingers. You don't read anything in the media negative about practice on Friday or what have you. Everything's been very positive. They understand that if they're in a game, they're in a game no matter what the score is. They're going to keep playing hard. They play with great effort. They're fundamentally sound. They're not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but they play well, they play hard, and they play together. And that's very, very important.
Can you tell when you're looking at like the kind of guys they have that you're talking about here that there's an alignment, a vision for who they bring in and the fit and how they consider that?
Yeah, for sure. I think you look at Bobby Wagner's a great description. You know, he's a guy that's a little bit older. He's not the same Wagner he was at Seattle for sure, but he brings great leadership. He's a great communicator. And when you have a young football team and you're trying to develop youth on your football team, you need veteran, strong leadership. And I like Duran and Jonathan Allen are actually pretty good as well. You know, we drafted them for that part of that reason as well. So those guys are excellent. And offensively, when you have a young quarterback having a veteran presence like Zach Ertz on the field, helps out a lot. And then Terry McLaurin, he's like the perfect player to have on your team as far as a teammate goes. He's very unselfish and works his ass off. So they have a great combination of leadership, young players, veterans that are all for the team, and that's important.
You know, it's funny because speaking of John, when you guys drafted him, there were some people wondered how long would his career be because there was some health issues and all that. Is there any surprise to you that I know he had the one injury this year? By and large, though, he's had a pretty good career in that regard. Is there any surprise to you at all that because again, that was one of the concerns that some other people may have had about him.
Yeah, I think some people had him off the board. That's why he dropped to us. There's no way if he had a clean bill of health, he would have dropped to us when we got him. He would have been a top 5 or top 10 pick for sure. But yeah, you know, fortunately, our trainers, Larry Hess and the rest of the guys, we did a lot of work on his injury, and we thought that he would be able to be okay. Obviously, if you re-injure it, that's one thing. But we
Right.
thought that with the right, you know, the way he works out in the off season and during the season, we thought his reward was much bigger than the risk.
Sure. And it certainly has been because he's still playing at a certain level. Playing in Philly, what's that like?
Well, it's obviously loud. They're very passionate. It's a blast. I love playing in Philly. You know, the best part about playing in Philly is when they're quiet and they start booing the other team. You know, that's the goal. That's the objective of any time you play on the road is to silence the crowd and make them turn on their team. And they will do that at the drop of a hat. So if Washington get out early, listen to them booing Sirianni and Kellen Moore and Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown. AJ Brown will be reading a book on the sideline. It'll be a great day for Washington.
Do you have a favorite moment from up there?
Well, we won the division. We
Right.
clinched
That's
the
right.
division.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah. So that was great. That was great. I remember Pierre's little slant and go or in and take off. He scored at the end and fell in the back of the end zone. So yeah, that was a great win. Despite uh, the halftime debacle that we had. We had to put out a lot of fires in that locker room in halftime, but it was great to come back and get the win and clinch the division.
What's it like? It's funny because even there, like you'd hear about the stories of going to the parking lot and little kids flipping the bus off and all that.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get the finger quite a bit when you're driving up there to Philly to get to the locker room. It's funny though. It's people enjoy it and they'll be throwing snowballs or whatever at the bus and flipping you off, but it'll get you ready, get your blood flowing early. Now you don't get geeked up for this one. Even when you play Philly in the regular season, you're geeked up for that one just because of the hostility and the environment. It's a blast to play. And it's what you dream of as a little kid playing on the road, playing in the National Football League. Now it's to go to the Super Bowl, so there won't be any issue with these guys getting up for this one. But you'll see the night before the game on all the news channels. It'll be because I remember when I was at Tampa Bay with my brother, we had to go to Philadelphia and beat Philadelphia to go to the Super Bowl with Brad Johnson. And Philadelphia was the NFC Championship game. And that place was nuts the night before the game, the day of the game. It was nuts. And it was an awesome win. That was one of my favorite wins to be a part of as well.
What does it take then? Because to go on the road, this team's gone on the road twice to win a game. You talk about then, like, what does it take to win on the road in the playoffs? What is there? If there's a formula, what is it?
You just got to keep your poise about you, and that's what Washington has done. I think they only had 4 penalties against Detroit. No, I think only one pre-snap penalty. I think they got a delay game and maybe one false start. And that's impressive, man. With the young quarterback, and you're doing silent count. Sometimes you normal snap count under center and shotgun your silent count. Guards looking back at you, tapping it, and it's easier said than done, man. It's quite the process to get the ball snapped when you're on the road. It's going to be like that against Philadelphia, and it's a really one of the biggest advantages in pro sports, I think, is home field advantage for NFL teams because of the crowd noise and just something you got to practice and deal with. And they've proven they can do that in two pretty good ones. Tampa Bay, not so much, but
Right.
Detroit, that's as loud of a stadium you'll play in.
That was incredible the other night. But can you work that to your? If you're on offense, can you work it to your advantage? Like they use that tempo, they go no huddle, because the defense has to communicate as well. Can you use that to your advantage?
Absolutely. And I think Cliff did an absolute tremendous job of doing some no huddle because that also can help the communication process because you're non-verbally talking to everybody and you're getting everybody lined up as far instead of being in a huddle and trying to scream in the huddle and then break the huddle and then somebody didn't hear it. You're like, and then you got to do the silent count. But if you're already at the line, you can communicate a little bit better. And I think Cliff does a great job of that. And he limits the defense for what they can do. Sometimes they're panicking to get their call in real quick. And Jayden can see the field and have more time at the line of scrimmage to do, you know, dummy counts or whatever it is, they can do it to snap count. So yeah, I think it's a genius move to go no huddle at times, especially on the road.
Wait, how do you weigh that too? Because like obviously they can't just come out and right away and just go, try to go really far up tempo. But how do you their process seems to be like get some momentum, then go that way. Do you like that?
Yeah, I like it a lot. Yeah, I've always liked no huddle. I just, a lot of times we have so many plays it's hard to get them all in no huddle form, So we always try to have some tempo type plays, whether you're trying to beat a challenge flag or you feel like the momentum of the game is just you're stagnant. You're trying to get some momentum going in your favor. You're trying to get the tempo back, and it's a great opportunity to, make your team play faster. Just let's get to the line. Let's play quicker. Let's not walk to the line out of the huddle. That'll drive you crazy as a coach. So yeah, I think the tempo has been outstanding. I think that's one of the best things they do on offense is the tempo. And they can do a lot of different things. They can do the running game, the RPOs, and they're doing the drop backs and the play passes. So Cliff has a great litany of plays that he can go to in that no huddle, and it's obviously started since training camp, and they've just continued to build on their playlist.
The other game, Bills Chiefs. Who do you like, and what do you think about that one?
That's these are two unbelievable players at quarterback again. The Chiefs just do not make any mistakes, and they capitalize on the other team's mistakes, the personal fouls and the late hits and all that stuff. People are complaining it's all because they want Taylor Swift in the Super Bowl and all that stuff, but they don't do it. Their pass rush is good. They sacked C.J. Stroud 8 times. They force missed field goals. I don't know if they force them or not, but they make teams play out of character for whatever reason. People play the Chiefs. I don't know if they get nervous. They just do things that they don't normally do. And the Chiefs capitalize. And Patrick Mahomes the best at not turning the ball over and making plays when you have to. And then Josh Allen and the Bills prove that they have a tough football team. They got manhandled by Baltimore the first time.
Yeah.
And offensively, they ran the ball a lot better. I think Cook had 75 yards as opposed to him and the other guy had 50 yards on 20 carries last time they played him. So they're able to move the ball with the run game, and then Josh Allen can make plays anytime, anywhere, any time, big play with his legs or with his arms. So it's going to be a great game to watch. I think this might be the Bills' year, though.
And then when you like talking about like how teams are with the Chiefs, like this team has won 7 in a row, and they have all those late wins, and they've won 2 on a row on the road in a row on the road. I mean, if you're the Eagles, like you can't let someone get in your head, but they certainly have some mettle. Like, what if you're a coach? Do you tell if you're Sirianni? What are you telling their players about them, even though it's at home, even though you beat them there earlier? I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, they better get ready. I mean, this is a damn good football
And
team they're going to
right,
play. I mean, right? I mean, obviously, this game means a lot, means the world. It's a chance to go to the Super Bowl, and not many teams have that ability. I think this is the first time since 1991 Washington's
yeah,
had this been in this position. Heck, what was I doing? I think I was playing arena football. My first year of arena football was 1991. I won my first championship, so that was a long time ago. So yeah, I think taking advantage of this opportunity is a big thing, and making sure people keep their wits about them and don't make this game too big. Now we're going to go across our process pregame and during the week. We're going to prepare like we always do. It's going to be our best week of preparation. And we get to the game, it's going to be like we're going to do pregame warm up. We're going to have a pregame meal. Everything's going to be the same. And then we go out there when the lights kick on. We're going to ask for your best, and they're going to give it to them.
but it's funny because like this team, it's hard to like I liken them like the cockroaches of the NFL. You can't kill them, and so like if you get like I felt like if they had a close game against Detroit in the fourth quarter, Detroit's going to tighten up a little bit because this team just has a way of overcoming that. Is that anything at all, or is that just more of a media thing where you wonder about if can they get in? Not about getting someone's head, but that it's just like how hard it is to kill this team.
I agree. I think Philadelphia will feel the pressure a lot more than Washington, even though they have a veteran type
Yeah.
team. I think that Washington has proven that they do not feel pressure. And we always said at Gruden's, we don't feel pressure, we apply it. That's what Washington does. They do not feel, you're not going to rattle Jayden. It's already proven. It's not going to happen. So don't even try it, Philadelphia. But if it does get late in the game, I like Washington's chances in a big, big way. If you force Philadelphia to throw the ball, play out of character, I think Washington come out victorious.
Jay, awesome stuff as always. Appreciate it, and looking forward to Sunday, man. This should be a fun one.
Be a blast. Thanks, John.
Thank you. That's it for this episode. Thanks to Jay for joining me, and thank you as always for tuning in. I'll be back on Thursday with another episode, getting you ready for the Commanders-Eagles NFC Championship game. I'll talk to you next time.